Hello, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining us here at Code It Live. So, what I have been working on and what I should be finishing up hopefully soon is an app. I am into cross-platform stuff. I'm into mobile stuff and desktop stuff, and dotnet MAUI is something that I'm fond of. So every Monday, I've been doing this for almost like 3 years now. There is a newsletter that goes out. It's called Sands of MAUI, and essentially it's just a way to highlight, 4 or 5 things that the community or Microsoft folks have done that are of relevance to .NET MAUI developers for that week or coming weeks. So it's a thing that I do every weekend, and it's just fun. It helps me keep on track of things that are going on. However, it's a newsletter, so we know how much people read emails. If it's hitting your inbox, I don't know how much you're reading it. So wouldn't it be nice if we made this into an app? You have a push notification that comes in that says, "Hey, there is a new issue, and you should go check it out." So that's what I've been building. And I think there are just a few things that I need to tighten up before I'm ready to push this out to the store. So we're going to start with maybe iOS first, then Android, then Mac and Windows. So let's look at the app as to where things stand. Again, I haven't done anything to this in a few weeks now, but I need to wrap things up. And I need to clean up on the data front a little bit, but let's make sure the app is all good to go. Okay, so the app is called Sands of MAUI. All right, so it's not a super complicated app, but it has some moving pieces to it. And I'm on a Mac. I'm on VS Code. You will have similar experiences if you're on Windows doing Visual Studio. Let's take a look at where this app was and where I left off. Hopefully the fonts are big enough for you to see. If not, please let me know in the chat. All right, pretty standard stuff. I am targeting .NET 8 runtime for now, and you can see like the target frameworks. I have it down to just iOS, which is good for your dev cycles when you are just trying to change some code and see it working. You are most likely working on a simulator or a platform, so it's a good practice to turn off everything else that you don't need, and then you can build for other platforms before you go live as well. This is all good, and then I have some views. I have some view models that are essentially going out, fetching the data, doing the orchestration. I have some utilities. There's a HTML builder. There are some services. There's a cloud service because this actually lives in the data part of it. Lives in CMS, like a document DB comes from Cosmos, Azure Cosmos DB, and then there is a local database service that caches it. I think what I was left to do was some validations and other things that were not quite in place. So let's take a look as to where things stopped. So this is the issue list view, which is kind of the first view of the app that you see. It's just a list of all the issues. And it looks like I had run it last on an iPhone 15 Pro Max. That's fine. Let's go run that again. Make sure the app is still functional. All right, so it's deploying. All right, up comes the iOS simulator, which is good. So you don't actually see the splash screen on the iOS simulators, but you do see it when you deploy it on the devices. We can talk more about that and how you can test that out on the devices. I think it's a bit of a bug maybe that you don't always, or maybe it's with the latest iOS versions, you don't always see the splash screen, but there is a splash screen to the app. But this is essentially the first page. Maybe I should put some shadows on it. This is essentially just a list of issues. That's it. That's coming down from the cloud. And then I have a hamburger menu here, which renders the way it is on iOS, but I think on Android we can make it like tabs at the bottom. So here we have a few more links, essentially, where to go find it, a little about us page, pretty standard stuff. Now, this all is static, so I'm not dependent on the network. So this is one of the things I was thinking I need to do is the app works when you have network, but it should also fall graciously if we don't have network. Now, the first time I actually go and run this app, this list that's coming back, it is cached. So the next time you come back, I don't need network, but when I tap on each individual issue, that is a network call as well. Unless I've already been there once, then it's cached. So let's tap on one here. Okay, so this is, excuse me again, this is essentially HTML, CSS coming down from the cloud. I remember, like I did some work with the fonts, so it's using clean fonts without any of the decorations, which is fit for like mobile devices mostly. Okay, so that is working, but I just need to make sure I am doing some validations before I do that. Oh, and one more thing I remembered. Let's go ahead and kill this for now. One more thing I need to do is let's see, a thing of it is MAUI Apple Privacy Manifest. This is an iOS requirement as of May 2024. I don't know how much it is being enforced, but you're supposed to declare to Apple all the things that you're collecting from the user. But in this case, like I'm not collecting any user data, but just the matter of fact that I'm using .NET means that I'm using certain APIs that Apple asks you to, declare. Like these are like required reasons APIs. Like, so if you're using any of those APIs, Apple requires a reason as to why you're using those things. So all good things, for the user's privacy in mind. So there are certain sample things here that my good friend Gerald started off saying, like all .NET apps should have this, and then you go look through everything else that your app is doing, and you just add on those things as appropriate. If you're using any libraries that are using SDKs or any .NET APIs or Apple APIs, those all need to be declared. So I need to add that to my app because like I need to push this to the iOS stores, and this will be like a automated check. They have some gatekeepers. So I'll need to add that, but let's go back and add some network checks because I don't think I'm doing that. Okay, so first thing is the app starts up. Let's look at where things start. appxaml.cs. This one here is, this one's doing the schedule of notifications. So this one, every Monday is when the newsletter goes out. And this doesn't need to be triggered from the cloud, like through an Apple push notification system, because we already know exactly when the notification needs to happen. So I am actually choosing to use a local notification. So if I look into my NuGet packages, there it is, plugin.local notification. I think this works only for iOS and Android for now. So when my app XAML launches, there's a schedule notifications call as the app is launching. So it calculates where you are essentially in the week, like how many days, how many hours left. So what I'm trying to get to is whenever you launch this app, like the next Monday at noon is when this notification needs to kick in. Where I'm doing a little bit of math here, counting the days of the week, dividing it by 7 and getting the number of hours essentially. And that's where this notification like goes out to say, hey, there's a new thing going on. Okay, and then if you tap on a notification, then we kind of take you to the end of the list. So you're looking at the last Sands of Maui. So that's fine. And so this is pretty standard stuff. It goes off into the app shell, and the app shell says I have some flyouts, and then each of the flyout options are tied to pages. Like, so Sands of Maui issues is tied to the route issues. So it's by convention, it looks into issues. And that content comes from issue list view, which is this one here. So this issue list view essentially is one big list of things. So I'm using a busy indicator, and then I have a list view. Pretty standard stuff here, but I think if I look into the code behind, So the page starts up and we do an initialize. Oh, we are doing dependency injection, which is nice. So I'm bringing in a view model that this view is depending on through DI. So if you look at the Maui program.cs, I have, as the app is starting up, I'm using some Telerik UI, but I'm using these register methods to say, hey, go ahead and register my views, register my view models. So it goes in and registers all the views, registers all the view models and the services, which is the cloud service and the database service and any utilities. It's all done nice and clean. So if we go back here, that's the view model I'm grabbing, and then on appearing, we do a fetch and bind. So this is where we are trying to get the data. Oh, actually, I did some. I didn't remember that. Okay, so the view model goes in and says, let me get you some data to show in the view, and it's trying to get the list of all the issues. Oh, I remember why, because this is the view. So this is the UI thread that we are on, which is where we are counting if the list of issues that you got to display, if it has no issues, like if count is 0, we're going to say network alert because you don't have it. And the reason is, if I go into the fetch and data, fetch data here, so this is the list view. This does two things. One is it cached, or do I need to fetch it from the cloud directly? So what it does is it uses a flag here to say, is the issue list already cached? If it is cached, then we're not going to go to the cloud. We straight away read the cache. So observable collection coming out of the database, and we rehydrate that object model, and up we have a list of issues. If it is something that is not cached, we are using the app for the first time, then we do go off to the cloud. Oh, and this is where I was doing the network access, which is exactly what I should be needing for the other ones as well. So network access type, if I have current network access, which is, it's not 100% a science, because like when we are on our mobile devices, we go in and out of networks. So essentially what this is checking to say, do you have any network like Wi-Fi, 3G, 4G, 6G, 5G, whatever it is. And then if you do have network, that's when I make the cloud service call. So I am not making a cloud call if there is no network. And if there is no network, essentially, this is a silent fail. So I'm not going to make the cloud call, but the list of issues is essentially going to have 0 issues in it, which is why that secondary check kind of works out. So if this is count to 0, either from the database, or which means we don't have it cached, or neither can we go to the cloud, that's when we are saying, hey, you should check your network connection. So I think that's okay. Now, one downside is, how do I test this? And I think network, I don't think there's a way in the iOS simulators to turn off your network. iOS simulator turn off network, yeah. Because the iOS simulator essentially goes off the Mac or the host machine. And I can turn off my host machine's network, but I cannot be streaming while I do that. So yeah, there are certain external packages you can do. Yeah, additional tools for Xcode. There's a network link conditioner that does it. I think iOS can simulate, like slow networks, but I don't think they can turn off networks entirely. Yeah, you know what? I think I can just like debug through it, so that way I'm just forcibly getting into that. So this view model comes in, and let's put a breakpoint right here. Oh, Copilot is enabled. I get it. Let's put a breakpoint here. Yeah, let's see how this might work. Okay, start debugging. Okay, I think I hit the breakpoint right here. So at this point, the count is 50. You see that? That's because this is coming, it's already cached. That's coming from the database and it's saying, hey, I have 50. But what if I didn't have it? Can I just drag this down? Yeah. Oh, no, that didn't work. Wait, I'm trying to drag it down. Why does it not go? I want you to go to that next line. Get in. Get into the if. No. I don't want to step over. I want to step into. No, it went right past it. Why does it not let me go back? Okay, let's stop. All right. I am missing a JSON file. Maybe that's why it's not debugging as well. But we can change the count on the fly to 0 and make it run again. All right, let's do again. Okay. Oh, wait, is it? The breakpoint is set, right? Yeah, okay. So the count is 50. Just let me set it to 0. I don't want. I know it's 50. Can you let me set it to? Yeah, there you go. How do I? So that's all the list of issues that's coming back. Hold Option key to switch to editor. Okay. Why does it not let me do that? Oh, come on. Add to watch? No. Well, I suppose if I did a watch here. No, I want the count value to change, not the variable name. This is not fun because I should just be able to drag and make it go inside the breakpoint. Can I step into? What did that do? Unhandle exception. Okay. The simulator is there. It is starting to come up. Yeah, so see this. This is continue, right? I don't want that. Copilot. I don't want Copilot now. I just want to edit this. I don't know. Maybe I really should have that JSON file because without it, it's not letting me change anything. Okay, hold on. What if I force it? So when this is, when I ask for the fetch, I'm not going to do any of this stuff, right? This is really bad, but I'm just going to force it to just do one line and not do anything else. All right. So when the fetch and bind comes up, I'm just going to display an alert. Okay, how about that? Then I don't even need to debug. Just let me see that display alert. Oh, there's a nice little app icon showing up. Okay. It's fine. I mean, I can probably do better in how the display alert is looking, but essentially it's saying, hey, you don't have it. And since this was like, it's still showing the thing in the back because it's trying to fetch and I haven't turned it off. But I get the idea. All right. So it will kind of work if it did not have network. So let's Control Z out of it. Maybe one other thing we should do is we should set this to false, just so this thing is not spinning in the background. Windows is trying to update, which is my streaming box, so no thank you. Okay, so we'll set that to false, and then we'll display the alert. Yeah, it's fine for now. So this, we are doing it on the view. So I think the list of issues is okay. But then once I click on an issue, I use the shell, and I'm going to go to the issue detail page, and I'm going to carry the issue ID with me, which is the selected issue.id. So this is a classic navigation pattern. So we're using the shell. And then if we go to the detail view, the XAML doesn't really have much. It's a web view that renders the whole thing. So now if we look at the view here, so this one's using a query property. So we are essentially grabbing it off the query. It's like a URL-based navigation between views. So we are grabbing the chosen issue ID, and then here we go and find that issue and then display it in our web view. And this one does not have any network checks whatsoever. So we need to add that. So we are setting that from the query parameter. That's all good. Then this is the initializer, or the constructor. This is grabbing the dependence injected issue view model, and it's grabbing the instance of this HTML builder. So I manipulate the HTML a little bit, which is why there's an HTML builder class. But here, on appearing, it does the fetch and bind, which is this method here. So it's going off to the view model and doing a fetch. Let's take a look at that. So this one here is doing the fetch, and same thing. We either cache the issue, we have it cached, in which case we're just going to serve it up from the database, or we go to the cloud, and we're not doing any checks. So let's fix that. Let's go to the issue list view model here. So here, what we did was this. So let's grab that. This was the issue list view model in the detail view. If we do not have it cached, now we need to look at the view model, issue view model, this one here. So we are grabbing the issue identifier, because that is the primary key essentially with which it's stored, and then we are saying, hey, do I have it in the database? If not, we go to the cloud, but we can't directly go to the cloud because that's where we need to do a check. Copilot is trying to be too smart here. Oh, actually this is, did you see that? This is pretty smart. Aha. So I copied it from this place, from the other view model, which is this one here, and it's already trying to infer what I should be doing. So check this out. I do Control V, and then now Copilot doesn't come up, but it was trying to suggest a few things before that. Interesting. So all of this should be behind that, and it did not do the pretty indentation, so we'll do that manually. All right, so if I don't have it in the database, I'm going to check network access, and only if I have internet access am I going to go to the cloud and do a fetch issue, and then save it to the database, and then set the flag to true. What is the issue identifier? Preferences set issue identifier. Why am I doing that? Because the issue identifier is, what is this? gets the value of the given key. So I'm trying to save the issue with the identifier, like issue number 1, issue number 2, and so on. This is what happens when you haven't looked at your own code in some time. But I must have been doing this for a reason, and I don't remember that. But anyways, I should not be doing any of that if I do not have internet. And then we should be getting the issue. What are my two issue identifiers? Why am I doing that? Database service. So the selected issue is the one that we are trying to fill in. And this one is of the type issue detail, which essentially is just two strings, ID and HTML body. So ID is the one that we are setting. So if the ID is empty, then it would mean that none of this worked. So I did not go to the network, in which case this is going to be the selected issue is just going to be an empty object. Or I went to this and the database also did not have it for some reason, and we are returning this empty thing. I think that's fine. And then in the detail view, we can do a check. On the view model is going to be this. So let's go to this and copy that. So in the detail view, we did the fetch. Before we do any of that, we need to add a check here. Why does it not paste correctly? Hold on. This needs to be moved in. There. Okay. My view model. What is my view model? My view model is the issue view model. The selected issue dot ID. So it's got only two fields, ID and HTML body. If that is empty, oh, look at that Copilot coming in and saying, hey, string.empty, is that what you meant? Then this is the issue. We should set that to false. And then say display alert, network alert. Can I make this any shorter? Your device likely does not have, oh. Your device likely does not have connectivity. So it fits on one line. Yeah. Not and connectivity. There you go. The device likely does not have connectivity. And we're going to do the same in the list view. Please try again later. And on the detail view, same thing. If this issue ID, so be it from the database or be it from the cloud, if this ID happens to be empty, which means I don't have a hydrated selected issue, I have nothing to show. So we're going to show a network alert and go from there. Well, we should not be doing any of this other stuff. Same here. Why am I trying to do all of this other stuff? Because none of this matters anymore. I don't have an ID, so there is no point. So I should bail. Can I just do a return? It's an async. It's just going to return a task. Just that, maybe. Yeah. And I should do that in the other one as well, because it doesn't make sense to, even on the list, it doesn't make sense to do any of the other stuff if you don't have a list. Because this is where we are, if it's launched from the notification, like the local notification, then we set that flag and then we take you, see, scroll item into view. This is nice because we are going to the last item. Yeah, so this one should also be enough to check on my network. So I'm not making a cloud call if I don't have network. That's all that I really wanted to do, because this will be a nasty failure if we tried doing a cloud service call where because this cloud service uses HTTP thingies all over the place. Let's go to the Cosmos service here. Yeah, so this is the Cosmos client, and you can see it has well, the Cosmos client itself has some HTTP things built in, because this is using a wrapper. It is using the Cosmos NuGet package. So this one here, the Microsoft Azure Cosmos, brings in the things that the Cosmos service is actually using, that wraps HTTP handlers. So when we do a fetch issue list, we initialize the Cosmos client, and then we point it to a database, point it to a container, and then we do a query items async. That has an HTTP client factory built in, which is why it can make that cloud call. And we are passing in like the name of the document database, the name of the actual document, the name of the database, the name of the container, everything in there, and it already has the URL to go to. Yeah, so we don't want to do any of that if I don't have network. Okay. Yeah, I think that should be good. What else? Am I doing a network call anywhere else? Oh, I am actually. Hold on. So this is the about view. This is pretty much static. But then there's a MAUI view. Yeah. This one also does a network call. So, well, essentially what we are doing is on navigated to, we're going to set that to false. What am I doing here? MAUI page does ammo. Okay. So this one here is, oh, I'm pointing the web view to the source. Oh, that is the MAUI web page. And we're generating the navigated event. On the navigated event, we are just taking down the busy indicator. So we probably should not be doing it if I don't have network. Yeah, I should probably set the source on the on appearing, not on the constructor directly. Yeah, I can do that. So let's go copy this. So this is the MAUI view. So here's what it does. Let's go run this without debugging. Is it running? Yeah, it is running. Okay. So when I tap on that, it essentially does the spinny and goes to the MAUI webpage, which is all we want. Just point it to the things that this app is made with. Now, we don't want to do this when we don't have network. And then when I tap on this, which is the same thing, it goes to the Telerik UI for .NET MAUI webpage, which is also not something we want to do when we don't have network. Okay, so let's stop that. So Maui XAML was doing this, but what we want to do is tap into the on appearing. Now this one has a name. This one's name is Maui web page HTML. This dot, oh, there it is, Maui web page HTML. That's nice. Dot source, yeah, you have it right. That's what I was trying to go to. Equals dot. So instead of setting it directly here, we're going to do it here. Yeah, and then the navigated event can stay, because all it is doing is it's just saying, hey, once I have navigated to that page, once the DOM is loaded up, then you can turn off the busy indicator, which is the spinner, which is fine. But we are doing it on appearing. Why is there a squiggly? Oh, it's fine. It can run synchronously because I'm not actually waiting on anything. But we need to check the device. Now here we were able to go look at the view model, but I don't really need to here because I already where is the issue view model? This one here. I can do this check right here. So let's go to the Maui XAML view. So if I see oh, this is funny. It's actually giving me, I'm just going to tab. So do you see that? I accepted what Copilot said, because this is nice. This is exactly what I wanted. So sometimes it works if you copy from the right place and Copilot is trying to guess. All right, how about that? So on this page, all we're doing is we are going to page. Why is this not formatted right? Move it left. Yeah. Okay, so while the page is appearing, we're going to check network access. If I do have network access, I'm going to set the source to that. If I don't, does not have connectivity, try again later, and we return and we bail. And then this navigator is wired up anyways. Okay, let's try that. Let's put a breakpoint. Sure, C# debugger. And then, looking at the timeline of things, .NET 9 is at preview 6, so it will come November. And I want to push out this app before November, so I don't probably want to go to .NET 9 yet. I'll stay on .NET 8, but I can coexist with .NET 9. So let's go to that, and here we have the breakpoint hit, and the network access says internet, so I am good. Do that. Set the source and go. There it is. All right, that's perfect. That's all we need. All right, stop that. So that worked out. Don't need that anymore. Now we're just going to copy this whole thing for the other page as well. So there's the Telerik view and this is the Telerik view, and we need to put that in. Now this one is called, what is this called? Telerik web page HTML. There, and we're going to set that to this source, which is Telerik MAUI UI, and we're going to take out the source from here. So just so we are making sure we are never making a network call if we don't have a network. All right. Display alert. If we don't have it, blah, blah, blah. That's it. do a quick check. We don't need to debug this. Just to make sure it's working as it was before. Okay, let's go to the Telerik one. There we go, we're good. So it checks that it has network, makes the call, and we are golden. Okay. Stop this. All right, so I think those are all the places where I'm making a network call. So I think that is it. That's all the checks I needed to do. The view models don't make a network call by themselves. The services and the cloud services, none of that makes a network call. It's all triggered from the UI. Okay. All right, so we made those changes. Now let's go back to adding our privacy checker thingy. So iOS or Apple doesn't get to return my app to say I did not meet their specs. All right, good friend Gerald. So what is this? Introducing privacy policy, blah, blah, blah. So you need to have the privacy policy XC privacy file. And the privacy things show up on the store app details, which is great for transparency and privacy. Minimum privacy for .NET apps. So we need to have these because they are part of required reasons API. Let's take a look at that. So if you're using any of these APIs, we need to describe why we are using it. Without describing the reason, Apple sends you an email reminding you to add the reason. Starting May 1st, apps that don't describe are going to be accepted. Does anybody have experience if Apple is rejecting apps? Because this was a little bit rushed, I feel. They said May 1st. I don't know if they're enforcing it. File timestamp, so there's a lot of detail here. System boot, I think these are things that .NET apps. Disk space, yeah, these are things .NET apps will use, so we need to declare those. Okay, but the good thing is the .NET team has already written up exactly what we need, which is these three things. The following contents are verified only for .NET MAUI versions 8 and up, which is what we are at. So if you're doing .NET for iOS, stick it in the resource folder. If you're doing .NET MAUI app, paste them in a file named that. Okay, we can do that in the platform.ios folder. All right, let's do that. And let's make sure we don't break anything in the way. Okay, let's close down all of these things. We don't need that anymore. It was good to add the network checks, right? Because otherwise it'll be a bad crash. The user will not know what happened. They're just using the app on a plane or somewhere where we don't have network. So now we have checks. Okay, so resources, not resources, views can be collapsed. So essentially platforms. So as compared to Xamarin, and now we are into .NET MAUI land. We don't have 5 different projects for 5 different platforms. It's all one truly single shared project. You see the CS proj, but these are platform specific folders in case we needed to do a splash screen or anything of a UI that is particular to iOS or Android. So your platform specific changes need to go in those folders, and then it's a multi-targeted project. So when you do a build just for iOS, that's what it grabs the stuff from the iOS folder, and the Mac or the Android folder as appropriate. So it has an info plist, which is pretty standard stuff. I actually have not added anything because I don't need anything. Then it has the Apple app delegate file, which points it to the create MAUI app, which is also good. And then there's a program.cs, which is tying it in as the app is bootstrapping. So we don't need any of that. We need to go into iOS and we need to say, I want to add a new file. That's my file name, privacyinfo.xc privacy. Okay. Ask GitHub Copilot to do something. Are you really going to be able to do this? Really? Let's give it a shot. Ask Copilot. No, I don't want you to. It's too much for Copilot to do. All right, so we got that. And edit your, So we need to edit the csproj file to do that and add an item group. Okay. So we essentially also have to point the csproj to that thing we're adding. Okay. We could do that, but that should be a conditioned thing. Yeah, so msbuild get target platform, target framework only if it's iOS. Yep, only if it contains iOS. Section somewhere under the project node. Okay. So let's go to csproj. The project node is here. So these are the common things I'm using, property groups. So we can stick this up somewhere here. Display identifier, versions, supported versions. Right there. Yeah, let's move this in place. Yeah. Should comment it out. Apple. Manifest. All right. So if target platform identifier is iOS, then please go look into platforms iOS privacy XC privacy file, logical name that. So go grab that file if you happen to be building for iOS. Okay. Excuse me. Let's go back and look into what the actual thing. The following contents are verified. Copy that whole thing. Makes it easy when they have the whole thing down for you, right? All right. No IntelliSense because this is like XML and it's getting confused as to what this file is. So let's check what the things are. So there's three things. We need the file stamp. Excuse me. File stamp APIs, system boot APIs. I have no idea what that is. And disk space APIs. Okay. Privacy API category file timestamp. There is a string named this, which again is magic string because no one knows what those are. It's whatever Apple needs, I suppose. System boot is this and then disk space is this. Oh, look at this. The entry below is only needed when you are using the preferences API. I am using the preferences API. Pretty sure I am because all of it, let's look into the views. This views ML. Yeah, I am using the preferences API all over the place. So I need to undo that line. And what happened? That stays CA92.1. No idea what that means. You might be uncomment that last entry only if you use the preference API. You'll need to entry it. You don't need it otherwise, because the compiler trimming is going to take out any of the APIs that you're not using. Let's make sure this is the API, preferences API. Storage types, Boolean double. Yeah, that's what I'm using. It's a key value pair. Preferences set, preferences get. That's what it is. Yeah, so we are absolutely using the preferences API. So we'll need that in place. Anything else? Xamarin, we're not doing Xamarin. Mac Catalyst, we're not doing Mac for now. Third-party libraries. Yeah, it is our responsibility. Yeah. So I don't know if I need something else. If I look at my third-party libraries, and by third-party I mean anything that is not coming default out of .NET MAUI, the platform. My libraries are Telerik UI for MAUI, Azure Cosmos DB, SQLite raw bundle, and plugin notifications. Do any of these libraries use anything that requires an entry in the privacy info? I don't know. And the only way to find out is to try pushing this app to the App Store and Apple rejecting you, saying you're using stuff. Yeah, I know, you're essentially just regurgitating what the first block post is. Copilot can be so smart at times, and then they're like, you're just grabbing things off the first link that you found. What is this saying? Azure Notification Hubs and its alignment with Apple Privacy Manifest. Yeah. Stability to provide privacy manifest. Okay. No changes. I don't know. And so like this is a bigger deal because now I have to go look through every one of my dependencies and check if I need that. One of it is actually stuff that I should talk to my engineering teams because I work at Progress Software. We make Telerik, so if our Telerik UI for .NET MAUI needs any privacy declarations, we should include that in the NuGet package. So all library maintainers should declare explicitly what their privacy usage is for any required APIs. But I don't have any of that info right now. SQLite probably also uses disk space, but we kind of did declare disk space right here. Like this one is for disk space usage, so I think that might cover it. But there's some gray areas here. I don't know what else I need to add for all of the libraries that I'm adding. I guess we'll figure it out. If I package this up and try to publish the app, Apple's going to let us know very quickly if something else is needed. Okay, so I made a few changes. I added that file, and I added that csproj link to that privacy info. Did I break anything? I should not have, but let's just run it. Ooh, time flies. It's already been an hour. Oh no! Why? The item group property is reserved and cannot be modified. What item group? Oh, I already have an item group. Uh-oh. Hold on. This was a precondition to add the bundle resource. Okay, so I cannot just randomly add another item group. The item group is this. Fine. But I can add item groups inside. Wait, that should be fine. Item group. Yeah, why can I not add an item group here? That's a property group. I'm adding item groups all over the place with a condition. That's for .NET 8, that's for iOS. In fact, like get target platform for iOS. So this will cover iOS and iPhones and iPads, and only on configuration release. I should probably have this whole condition up here as well, but that should be fine. Why are you complaining? Let's do a clean and a build. Let's see if it complains. Yeah, looks fine now. Yeah, it's fine now. Okay, everything is working as usual. We didn't break anything. We can go to here, and we can go here, and we can go here. This is a static page. These are some of the folks that help publish the newsletter every week. And we can come back here. Yeah, everything is good. So may have just been a blip in the matrix because that item group addition did not mess up anything else. Okay, all right. Those are all the validations I wanted to add. And I think at this point, the app, fingers crossed, is good to go. What isn't good to go is all the data behind it. I need to clean up some of the data that's coming down from the cloud, make sure everything is good to go and the issues line up with the content, because those need to be mapped. So like Sands of MAUI issue number 50 should point to the right blog post, and the blob storage being brought out of the CMS into Azure Cosmos DB. So I need to do some back end work, but otherwise I think the app is good to go. These were some of the property group things I was doing to fire off this app onto my devices. But all of that should be in place. So next up is just some cleanup work, and then we should be able to publish this. Most of this app was actually written live here on stream. It's a good learning experience, right? When you're stuck with problems and you're trying to figure out how to do stuff, and all of you try to help, which is nice. Love you all, and this has been a stream, and hope you all are well and being productive, and we'll see you around on the next stream.